Hello, and welcome to your astrological vibrations for Saturday, October 31st, 2020 by Gaia Blooming. I am Mimi, and our energy mantra for today is I am empowered by my responsibility to my personal evolution. And happy Halloween, happy full moon energy. This is such a powerful meeting. This full moon energy, Halloween energy, the beginning of Samhain, which is a Celtic holiday that represents harvest, that represents death and rebirth, that represents the end and a new beginning. And actually, appropriately, usually I do cat, but my cat is all still tucked away in storage, and so I got some bat ears, bat wings for this Halloween. And bat energy also represents death and rebirth, and we are strongly in the spirit of Scorpio, which brings death and rebirth. And this is part of this full moon energy. This is part of the energy that we really want to embrace with this full moon, this really powerful full moon. So I always say there are a few planets that I call my superhero planetary agents of change. They would be Pluto and Uranus. And this full moon is almost exactly conjunct with Uranus. So like I said yesterday, when planets are conjunct, when they are working together, it amplifies the energy of both of them. So even though this full moon is not considered a supermoon, although it is a blue moon, it really is a moon with the potential to bring and seed change, seed evolution, seed personal revolution, as it connects with this Uranus energy, bringing change, sometimes unexpected, change, evolution, revolution, breakdown, breakthrough. So powerful energy in this full moon. And that's one of the things. I'm really feeling the spirit of liberation through this full moon. And symbolically, in this season, one of the things that you could do to symbolically support this energy is find something within your possessions that represents oppression. I was going to say obsession, but no, oppression. And release that. Release it to the earth. Release it to the universe. Say thank you for the lessons and let it go. That is so powerful. Always in full moon energy. But again, with this liberation power that Uranus is lending to us in this full moon energy, it just packs that extra oomph with this energy. I would also say with this, even if you don't have anything, if you've done a great job clearing your stuff out and you don't have anything that really represents oppression, think about that in your life. What has felt oppressive to you? And I would say, write the word oppression down. Burn it or bury it or flush it or whatever your personal practice for release is, but let that go with blessings for the lessons that it has brought you. Super powerful energy, and just creating a ritual around this energy can be so supportive. So long, farewell, oppression. On so many levels, and hopefully as we do this, we seed this. If you watch my yesterday's scope, we seed this for all of us, for the world, this release from that which has held us back, held us down, within ourselves and without ourselves. So, let's dig into this full moon. It is happening at, should know this, 7:49 a.m. Pacific time. I should, but I do not. It is at 8 degrees Taurus, which is exactly where Uranus is hanging out. Now, yesterday I gave my spiel on why I do not read the next degree for the Sabian symbols, I want to bring up a point that came in. Like, if you hit a mile marker, you're at mile 11 until you hit mile 12. So again, I read the degree where we're at. I also read the energy of each degree, and so that's why I stick with the degree. So we're at 8 degrees, moving towards 9. Not quite there yet. 8-degree energy, a sleigh on land, uncovered by snow. And like I said yesterday, this speaks of preparation for the future. And we really are in that stage right now where we are preparing ourselves for what's next. We're preparing the ground, we're preparing our seeds, we're nurturing our seeds, and we're taking the steps that need to be taken in order to move forward. That sleigh, maybe it's Santa's sleigh, you know, maybe it's a flying sleigh, who knows, but it is a device or mechanism for moving us forward, and that's what it speaks of. And even the next degree, where we will have the moon, and, well, Uranus is still retrograde, so just the moon moving to later at 9 degrees, is a fully decorated Christmas tree, reminding us we are moving towards the light. That's why I had to light some extra candles today to hold that light, even as we are moving the northern hemisphere deeper into a darkening season. There is so much light in us, supporting us, that we're moving towards, and we cannot lose sight of that in any of the chaos or turmoil that is to come. You know, a lot of people are predicting a lot of craziness with this upcoming election, no matter who wins. And from what I've seen online with people fighting and just around, it's very likely, I don't say that to scare anybody, it's very likely that we may have to face some shadow around these energies, and some indignation. I won't say righteous indignation, because I have an opinion, which may not be yours, and that's okay. But there are some people, I think, on both sides, who will feel righteous indignation. Whether it's righteous or not, I don't know. I don't claim to know. Who will feel that about this election. And yet, we have to know there is a plan unfolding, and we are moving towards the light. And evolutions, personal revolutions, are being seeded. And going back to that 8-degree energy, it is each of our responsibility, personal responsibility, to show up in and through our personal evolution, realizing where we are being called to shift. And even as each of us goes through our personal shift, there are so many ways that we bring others along with us on this journey. Okay? So, very powerful. Now, speaking of fear, we move from this full moon to an opposition, not just between the sun and the moon, but an opposition between the sun and Uranus. Like, it's just all right there. It's like the sun and the moon, full moon energy, 7:49. The moon and Uranus conjunct 7:55 a.m., Pacific time. And then we have the sun opposite Uranus, 8:53 a.m. So it's like boom, boom, boom in the morning. That opposition. There may be triggers, there may be fears that start coming up. Again, it feels sort of like the darkness before the dawn that we have to face, whether it's in ourselves, whether it's in the world. And we do want to realize that full moon energy specifically does have a reaching point. I mean, it really affects the next 2.5 weeks, the next 6 months, but largely like 3 days before and 3 days after, we are feeling these effects of this full moon energy. And so keep that in mind with all of this. You may pass the morning and be like, phew, okay, no upheaval, we're good. Be vigilant in your own process and be vigilant in the world as well. And hopefully, we can all be grounded enough to really realize what's going on in and of ourselves and in our own personal breakdown, breakthrough, evolution, revolution, but realize there are just some who are not there in that process. So, that opposition, like I said, it could bring up fear. Sun in Scorpio. It can make us paranoid. It can bring up fear. It can bring up old survival stuff. Who among us doesn't have survival stuff from past life conditioning? You can't be a witch. You can't be an oracle. Don't like any other god besides the Christian God. Oh my goodness, you say too much. The people like you too much. How many times have we been taken out? Or your neighbor doesn't like you and makes up a story about you. Those fears are real. And so often they continue on inside us. So be vigilant of these. These may be some of the energies that are coming through to be processed to help you shift your personal revolution. But again, the awareness of this, I think, is the important part, and realizing 8 degrees, it is personal responsibility to show up for these energies in and of yourself and release this old conditioning and stand with courage in your heart, stand with love, as we all take steps on this new path, that Fool card energy. So really, really powerful. The other thing that I want to mention as we are letting go of these old conditioning energies, what do you value? That is a big part of Taurus energy. What is it that you value, and can you stand for that? What I love, Lilith, oh my God, how she moves in the chart blows me away. Lilith has moved back to Taurus after, going back, checking on Pisces, coming back through Aries, and now is back in Taurus, actually at 0 degrees through a large part of that date. That 0 degrees, that transformational degree. Lilith, go your own way. What do you value? Honor what you value. Go your own way with what you value. Again, this is a calling to let go, I feel like, of lifetimes of oppression, of lifetimes of where we have held ourselves back, where we have held on to things, where we've held on to habits that aren't in alignment with our personal values, and stand in our heart. Just like I said in yesterday's scope, there are so many things that'll take your hand and be like, come this way, this is important, and this is important. And you bring your heart back to your hand back to your heart, and you say, no, this is important. Keep tuning into that and realize that Lilith in you, she'll be like, are you noticing what's important? Are you paying attention to it? Honor that which is important in your life. Again, this is how we change the world, by honoring what we love, by giving it our time, by giving it our money, being very aware where we place our attention and or our money, our finances, and in through this, all of these things make changes. I think I'm going to finish up with the Halloween Oracle, and I pulled a card that I'm actually going to read the whole thing of. I pulled the card Midnight. So, the most magical hour of all. The middle of the night, midnight, is the hour in which it is believed that ghosts, witches, ghouls, and magic are most likely to be active. Transition times such as noon, the time between the tides, or even dark moon are traditionally powerful time for magical transformation. In some Christian traditions, the witching hour is seen as 3 a.m. because it's opposite the time that Jesus is said to have died at 3 p.m. There's some consensus that midnight is the time of greatest magic, particularly around Halloween. As soon as the clock strikes midnight on Halloween, it is said that spirits flow forward through the veil and, if benevolent, bring positive messages. If not so benevolent, they are mischievous and play tricks at best, or worse, cause havoc. Allow yourself to relax into the benevolent darkness of midnight. You may feel this is your darkest hour, but know that the light will return again. So here we have this here, as well as that Sabian symbol energy. We are moving towards the light. It will return. Every year will not be 2020, I promise. Although we still have a little bit more work to go. Anyway, you may feel this is your darkest hour, but know that the light will return again. The dawn always follows the darkest night. Know, too, that it is important to recognize that we all have darkness within us, just as we have light, and this isn't something to hide from. So with that, happy Halloween, blessed Samhain, And you can book a reading with me. Email me, mimiclark@gmail.com. Besides that, the better it gets, the better it gets. There's more than enough love in the world for you. You have the power always, and stay curious. Namaste.